Welcome to Creators Cafe. I'm your host, Jessica Payne. I'm a performer, performance coach, and multi-hyphenate creator. I'm going to be bringing you conversations with some of my favorite creators where we talk about the sublime and the specifics of the creative journey. So grab a drink, get cozy. Let's go. My guest, Paula Deming, is an actor, improviser, and creator based in Los Angeles. I first met Paula when we worked together on the audio series Deck the Halls with Matrimony, which she starred in. It's very cute and very seasonal if you want to listen to something to get you in the mood for the season. Paula has since then become internet famous as a host in the board game world. Paula makes board game comedy videos on YouTube in her series Things Get Dicey. Her YouTube channel also features playthroughs, silly strategy videos, and the occasional top 10 list. She's also on Twitch and was recently featured at TwitchCon, and she's a cast member of the Golden Geek winning podcast This Game is Broken. She talks about games on Watch It Played and Game Night Picks, and plays ttRPGs with channels like Good Times Society, Glass Cannon Network, and Push the Roll. Paula is a fantastic, funny, sweet, adorable friend of mine, and I can't wait for you to listen to this conversation. All right. Hello, and welcome to Creators Cafe, Paula Deming. Hello,
Yay!
and cheers. Yay! Yeah! Cheers, cheers.
Yay! I should have kept the drink I had before this, which was in an actual mug. I swapped to water right before this. I was drinking tea. And before that, it was coffee. And then I thought, you know what? I don't need any more caffeine. Let's switch.
I like that you're like going gently into your day. Yeah. Absolutely. So you're drinking the bubbly water. What flavor is your choice?
This is, of course, the best one. Everyone agrees. The pamplemousse.
Yes.
The grapefruit LaCroix is how I'll say it. So,
yeah,
it's a good one. And before that, it was an Earl Grey tea. And before that, it was a coffee with whole milk in it because I'm out of oat milk and I miss having my oat milk and I want to just pour out the milk I have and just get oat milk. And people don't need to know that. That's
Creators Cafe. We care deeply about beverages. We respect the beverages and strong taste.
They are important. We need them to fuel us.
Yes. I am drinking, most of the time I go get one, but my apartment had flooded. Our internet was out. We had a lot of, everything's fine, but there was a lot of little details to kind of sort back out. And so this is a homemade coffee, but with sight glass coffee from, it's in Hollywood, right at the edge of West Hollywood on Fairfax. It's a local roaster, and it is delicious. It's so good.
Nice. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. It's like a lovely place to work too, but so many people work there. On a normal work day, you can't get a spot,
like
so I just drink their coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it to go.
So good. Yep. Okay, so Paula, I know you as an actor, as a producer, as a creative of so many kinds, and as a lovely, wonderful friend who is always just such a ray of light and positivity, but also realness. And I just adore you.
What a nice thing to say. Oh my gosh. Well, the feeling's mutual.
It's all true.
The feeling's super mutual.
All true. Thank you. It's funny because I think when we come into somebody's life, there's a little bit of the like, that's how I think of this person. And we don't always evolve over time or update kind of the mental files to reflect the present. So I know you as an actor. I know you as a producer. I know you as somebody that was who's really funny and good at improv and has like this bright personality that you just use across a lot of platforms. But now that you've done so many things, when you think about yourself as a creative, what do you kind of identify as and how do you think about yourself?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I actually think I still feel like a lot of those things that you've just named. You know, I think I view myself as a performer with an eye for comedy or a comedic bent. And then second to that, like a gamer. would be the next way I think of myself, and that's probably because right now so much of my performance is in the gaming space. And so I am performing playing games a lot these days. So yeah, a comedic performer who games and self-produces many things.
Yes, definitely. And we're going to get deep into all of that soon. So I know you as an actor because we worked on the project Deck the Halls with Matrimony.
Yeah.
And you were the romantic lead, but also the producer. And I just want Hallmark and everyone to hire you as like adorable rom-com lead because you were just like built for this.
It would be so good if that kind of traditional line of acting and performance that I thought would be possible in my life, if that door ever opened, shoot, I would sure say yes to it. I'm going to pitch that I think we should do like a mini series on one of your channels where we just write like mini rom-coms for you in the gaming world. Oh my gosh.
Because I think you should be the rom-com ingenue of the gaming world.
That is such a fun idea. I'm literally
your
antagonist
or co-writer or whatever you want, or just happily watch and be your audience. But I think you've developed such a following and such a niche and such a cool tone for yourself that like you have your platform. Like just do what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, that's the question always, right? I am literally taking a note about this idea. Mini series of rom-com gaming videos. I sort of did one back in the day that was like a play on I called it Play Anything because that was supposed to be a pun for Say Anything. But it was about like your first love with a board game that you fell in love with when you first like the way you are when you first get into a hobby, and then as time goes on, is your relationship with the thing that got you into that hobby still the same? And so we kind of mapped all of that onto like rom-com tropes, which was very fun. You say like,
I do want to say I saw that video and it was adorable. And it also was oddly lined up with like I had done a short film in grad school where my character fell in love with a trash can and we went through the same arc. It
Perfect.
was hilarious to me because we were just like checking the boxes of the same thing, but yours was
now
with
they're looking at the clouds.
A much nicer love interest. Mine was a garbage can.
Well, you know, we all have those garbage can love interests in our lives, though, you know, so.
It makes you appreciate it when you get the real one.
Yeah, right? For real. But yeah, you had brought up, you know, I kind of have my platform. I can just kind of do whatever I want on it. Mm-hmm. And that is always the question, actually. Can I?
Sure.
Or
well, I think there's it's kind of like the freedom of speech, like except for some rules, you know, some like content guidelines. Like you can do whatever you want, but you won't be rewarded for doing everything that you want. So what's the trade-off, I guess?
Yeah, it is. So I do most of my self-produced content is put out on YouTube. And that is just a constant mystery, kind of, right? Because the algorithm is changing always. When I first started putting out videos, I was literally just having this conversation with my partner. When I first, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but I'm just going to say what came to top of mind.
Jump in. I love it.
When I first started putting out videos 6 years ago, vertical content wasn't really a thing. I think Vine maybe still existed, but TikTok wasn't really a thing at that point. Instagram wasn't even doing stories yet, you know, so short form content was still like the thing for YouTube. And I was like, great, I want to do sketch comedy videos about this particular hobby that I'm a part of, board games. And I want them to be as quick as possible, you know, like the shorter the better. As short as they need to be. Sometimes they need to be longer, right? You have to kind of find the right length for each thing. But like, I think some of my first videos were like, I was like, man, if I can get this under 2 minutes, great. But they're all horizontal. And that worked great. But now, 6 years later, short form content is often done vertical content as part of YouTube Shorts, a YouTube Short can go up to 3 minutes, which used to be a long video for me when I first started on the platform. There's TikTok, which is short vertical content. There's Instagram Reels or Stories, vertical content. And I was just going, should I be transitioning all of my short comedic content into vertical shorts, YouTube Shorts and Reels, as opposed to these horizontal, more traditionally filmed, like short films, and focus the actual, the proper YouTube video into like longer form discussion topics or top 10 lists or video essays where you're more and more on the platform rewarded for longer content because they can put more ads into it. And because your audience will have a longer watch time, even if percentage-wise they're watching less of the video, it's a longer watch time. So YouTube goes, oh, people like this because they're watching it longer than they watch your normal videos, even though your normal videos are only 3 minutes long. And so they push it out to more people. So you kind of get rewarded in a lot of ways for making longer content. And so I'm at a crossroads right now, Jess, about like what.
So I've been doing a lot of research in this and a lot of kind of development and consulting with people on this stuff. So I'm actually super excited to talk about this. So I think you have a different perspective on this because, if somebody's coming at this from like, I have a business and I'm doing a podcast because I want to promote this business and I'll do a couple of shorts, but the shorts are really like clips from the longs of the video podcast. That's its own thing. That's like kind of like business brain. Yeah. So we're coming at this from the creative side, but you also have the benefit of being kind of what's weird, I would say classically trained as a creative. And so you've got both the like digital prowess and native skills, but also kind of that you know how to create a narrative arc and you know how to find the right length for something. Because you as a creator have made things that are like about 3 minutes long and it already exists. Actually, what I would say for you is just experiment with re-editing those to the vertical format and seeing if that picks up, because you have like such a body of work. You could re-edit and it doesn't even have to be perfect, right? You can just kind of put a vertical filter on, make sure you're like tracking
kind of like
yourself.
Pan and scan,
Exactly. And do your best and see if that gets any traction. My light is really excited about this story. It's like, yes, girl. It's blinking on and off. And just see if that's something that your audience responds to at all, or if it gets traction on its own, because you already have an existing audience base and you could turn that. I mean, it would be work, but you could put those out pretty consistently for a month or two, and see who responds to what. Then you would have a whole lot of information without a lot of like starting from scratch and seeing if it works. It's also, there's a little bit of the like ride the wave of the industry, and our industry right now is so hot on verticals. I kind of think you're not in a bad position to be ready to pitch somebody your vertical series. And that you kind of already have an audience, so you could have like a proof of concept where you do 5 or ideally 10 episodes that somebody could see like, oh, this is working really well. Let's go ahead and like make this a full series and produce it.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I had just been thinking like, oh, maybe I should, at least with my new videos, I really should start doing at least vertical clips out of them to share on these platforms, and finding the energy to do it. But truly, I mean, like you said, it's not that it's no work, but going back to old videos and kind of doing a quick and dirty re-edit. Let's say I spend a week doing that and I get it done for everything. That is still significantly less work than it would be to make a new video.
Yes.
To make it vertically, and because that's going to take the time to write it, the time to film it,
yes.
the time to edit it, the time, and that is not the kind of content I make. Tends to be a bit more produced. Not all of it. I do some stuff that's a little more like YouTube-y, where you just like, here I am sat in front of my wall talking about something, but that's also not what I'm. Those things are great for driving views and influx of subscribers, honestly, but I want to be making interesting, more cinematic, fun, comedic content and commentary. That's why I started doing it.
Yeah.
And why not try? Yeah, it's such a tricky balance to find of like, you don't want to be chasing the algorithm because you will burn out. You see it happen. You know, all these big YouTubers who then will be like, I'm quitting YouTube. And they talk about how they've actually been in debt for the last 5 years and they can't do this anymore. It's too much. They can never take any time off because they're constantly, if I don't do this thing and I don't do it on this schedule, I lose views, I lose subs, I can't do it. That's too much. But also, if you do just the inconsistent upload of thing that is just at your whim, that's not going to maybe you have to figure out what's fulfilling for you, but like that's not going to like grow your channel either. So it's like I'm constantly myself trying to find like where's the balance of doing what I think is the right YouTube thing to do and making the stuff that I feel really passionate about and hope that that's enough to bring in views and hopefully maybe a little ad revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of just productions and commercials and everybody is also doing like a dual shot. So you're like shooting for both simultaneously, which as an independent creator is like, well, what does that mean? But I could see you just shooting it with an eye that, if you're able to track yourself, it basically, from what I've found, is it mostly just takes away extreme close-ups, because then that would be like you would just have like an eye and half a nose in the vertical format. So it does pull you away a little bit, but for any stories that makes sense for, I think because you often have a game, honestly, it's often you and a game in front of you. So I think that's actually more suited for vertical than a lot of people's content is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, things to think about.
I think it's more like there's like you don't want to be a slave to the algorithm, and you do want to acknowledge like giant industry trends. And this is kind of where so many people's attention is right now. That's something to think about for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And because you've got so much content that you could repurpose, I think the cost of entry is just so much lower for you than most people.
Yeah, it's a really good point, thinking about going back and redoing things. Because even if I'm like, oh, my current subscribers have already seen all those videos, some of them haven't. There are videos that I know, like, just because you subscribe to a channel doesn't mean you've seen everything they put out 4 years ago,
Right.
And it could help bring the attention of some things to people who haven't seen it yet, subscriber or not.
And I know some people kind of benefit from, even if you just have kind of one channel, you also have like, kind of containers within that of like, this is my series of vertical videos from this. But then you could also, like, if you, I don't know about the like with rights and how you have filmed things and how it would work, but like if you're doing a live gameplay, is there an amount of time later that you could repost that to YouTube, and have that, like, you've got a 3-hour game that if somebody didn't catch, they could watch it on Twitch, but they also could maybe then find it on YouTube if they don't really, if they're not a Twitch person. And that's not like, maybe that's a separate feed kind of, or that's delineated somehow. So people aren't just like, wait, I thought this was going to be 3 minutes long and it's 3 hours long.
Yeah. Well, that's
there's a little bit of that.
A lot of people do make a second channel for content they want to do that is just a little bit different from what their first channel is known for. And there's some different kind of schools of thought on this, but the one you hear people the most say is like really niche down. niche down. You know, the more your audience, when they see your channel, they need to know what they're going to get from it. And a lot of the more variety-driven channels are channels who've just been around for longer. And so that some people would say, yeah, take all of your gameplay throughs from Twitch and put them on a totally different channel. They're there, you could grow that, but that way they don't kind of water down what your audience is on your sketch comedy channel to see. Now, have I done that? No, I have a mix. I have a mix of things on my channel. Yep. And I'm actually, one of the things I want to do in 2026 is focus more on being a genuine variety channel.
That's cool.
And still within my niche of gaming, tabletop gaming, board games, and ttRPGs, but be a place where people know what they're coming for is entertainment about gaming. It might be short sketch comedy videos. It might be something that's more informational, but with my comedic sense applied to it. It might be a game playthrough. It might be, you know, and I want to kind of experiment with that and see if I can make that work within kind of the niche that I am already in.
I think because your voice is so consistent, even in your narrative content, like you play very different characters and they all feel like fun and real, but they also all feel like you. Yeah. I find that you are the connective thread for me, and that's enough.
Yeah. That's okay. That's nice. That's nice of you to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I don't know if there's a way to like delineate the series if you're, you know, I do think that like 3 minutes versus 3 hours is a challenge, but I do like the overall variety in your niche makes a lot of sense to me. And if somebody likes you, they're going to like your stuff. Yeah. So.
Well, some of it is I can organize it at least into like playlists on the YouTube channel page. And then I try to also like make it clear from thumbnails and video titles what people are going to, when they see it, before they click on it, hopefully they know this is a top 10 list. This is a sketch comedy video. This is a gameplay through. And hopefully they can tell based on the image and the title of it so they can make choices on that.
What are your yeah, totally. What are your kind of best practices in your brain now that you've been doing this for 6 years for creating those thumbnails and titles? What do you do? What do you not do?
This is always evolving too for me. It's trying to figure out. I have actually been thinking like, oh, should I go back and remake all my old thumbnails? But okay, so for my sketch comedy videos, I put my logo, the series logo, which is called Things Get Dicey. And I just did a rebrand this year. So some of them have the old logo and some of them have the new logo. But I put the logo on there to hope to key people's brains in like, oh, this is comedy. This is Things Get Dicey. And then I try to always show my face. And if I can, show a game. Because sometimes people will click on a video because like a video I've had go well from a few years ago has the game Gloomhaven in the thumbnail. And this is like a very popular game in this space. And so I think one of the reasons it did so well is people were like, Gloomhaven, and they clicked on it. So I try to show the game so that people who don't know what Things Get Dicey is know that this is going to be about board games.
That's really interesting because that's kind of the same concept as like using a celebrity in your commercial of like, I'm familiar with them if they like this, but you're using it as a board game as your celebrity endorsement.
Yeah, exactly. And then for like top 10 lists and things like that, again, I try to I show my face. I don't think I have any thumbnail that doesn't have my face on it.
That's smart because you are the through line. That's really smart.
And I try to have either an interesting looking facial expression or like a nice fun looking one. I try not to go to, like YouTuber like overreacting thumbnail face. You know what I'm talking about? Like, where they're like this.
Yeah. You're like fun mugging posing. You're not like, hey, YouTube.
Yeah, like it's your girl.
That is
which is fine, but
effective for some people, but off-putting for many.
Yeah. And then, try to, every time I make a thumbnail, I feel like I'm trying something new to try and like figure it out. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's a top 10 list. Just put the text of like what the list is about. But then sometimes I'm like, should I put images of the games I'm going to be talking about on it so that people will see, oh, she's going to talk about this game, I'll click on it? Or is it more of a curiosity gap if they don't know any of the games I'm talking about? And it's funny, I just put out a top 10 list where about board games I recommend to take to your family gathering. And because I was like, okay, it's right around the holidays.
Yeah.
This is information that I think people would actually be interested in. And I did one of the things, YouTube will now let you do title and thumbnail tests. So I made 3 thumbnails and 3 video titles. And I ran a test, and it takes a couple days, and then YouTube will tell you which one got the most clicks. And that's the one it'll set as your permanent thumbnail. And for this one, I did 2 that actually showed boxes of games I talk about in the video, and 1 that didn't have anything. And that one did the best, actually. And I was really surprised.
Oh, I'm surprised too. That's interesting. Okay.
And I've started as well. I used to feel like I needed to do the exact same words on the thumbnail as in the title of the video. But I've started to play with not doing that and letting the 2 things work together to fill in more of the story. So trying to give like a little taste of one angle on it in the thumbnail and then maybe a different or follow-up angle in the title is something I've just started to play with.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm interested to see how that all goes. That's I love that kind of nitty-gritty, like, but what do you actually do?
It's tricky. It's a lot of people's least favorite part of it, right? They're like, oh, now I have to make a thumbnail because it's not easy to figure out. Yeah. And it's the most important part, arguably. Yeah. Because if it doesn't make people want to click on your video, then no one's going to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very important. And you already have a base of people who adore you and are going to watch anyway. So it's interesting, like, I wonder if somebody who's new to your space posted the board game themselves, maybe that would help them more, whereas your audience doesn't need that.
Right, yeah.
We don't even know what those considerations are, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So what do you do to, like, what's your creative process from, like, coming up with an idea for, let's focus on those, like, YouTube 3-minute, like, high concept videos, like my love, the board game, or the, you had a film noir detective one that I really adored.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. And then you have one that's like the intrusive or inner monologue of a gamer. So with examples like those, how do you come up with the idea and then build the whole process? Do you like write a formal script? I know some of them you have lost in directing. What's that like? Some of them you have like co-creators. They're with you. Who's editing? Who's putting it up? Tell me everything.
Yeah. Okay. So the beginning of the process is coming up with the idea, and a lot of my ideas are come from like kind of like the interaction we had at the start of this, where you said something. I was like, "That's a great idea," and I went into my phone because I have a notes app that I have had for years now that literally, I don't know if it'll show on our little video feed. Okay. I have just like, it's so long. Anytime I think of something that might make, it's really long. I should clear some of this out. That I think might make a good video, I jot it down.
Wow.
And then when I'm like, I need to make a video, what should I do? I will go and I'll say, oh, here's something I jotted down. Sore loser. Extreme examples of things people do when they're losing or to keep from losing. Do I feel inspired by that right now? Yes. And then I'll sit down and try and write it. Or I'll go, no, maybe this. Or I'll go, why did I write this down? Grey Poupon parody. I don't know.
I could see you pulling up in a car and rolling down the window and having a game. Excuse me, sir.
Do you have any Gloomhaven? So I have, and sometimes I get an idea and I don't write it down. I'm in a place where I can just start working on it. But I will write a kind of a proper script, which is funny because I'm in them and I refer to myself in the third person. So I'm like, Paula sits at a table, blah, blah, blah. Because that's not really me. That's the character me.
Yeah.
She's a different person. And I write it, and sometimes it comes out all in one sitting, and sometimes I start it. I probably have like 5 scripts right now that are like in partial states. Where like I start and I think, oh, I'm really inspired, and I get a little bit in and I'm like, actually, I feel stumped now. Let me come back to this. Or I get partway through and I realize, oh, this is going to be more complicated to write than I thought it was going to be, because I actually need to use 5 specific games to make 5 specific examples to make the comedy work for this. And now I have to figure out what games are going to be best, and I can't think of them right now. I'll come back to it. So sometimes I can do them all in one go, and sometimes I come back to it, and sometimes it's like months later I go back and I go, oh, I know how to finish this now. So I kind of have a rotation of things I'm always working on and writing. And then
what do you technically write in?
Oh, good question. So I used to use, back in the day, I used Celtics or Celtics, however you say it.
Me too, totally.
And then it went away.
Yeah.
I was really sad and had a bunch of documents in it that I just can't open.
No.
I saved them all. Like, I have the little files, and I'm like, maybe one day. It's
maybe
fine.
one day. Oh, that's so frustrating. I'm so sorry. That breaks my heart.
It was not a fun. Because then for a long time, I was using, like, the version on my Mac that still works. And then it just...
And then goodbye.
That only lasts for so long. Yeah. But so now I use a mix of things. Sometimes I use a online tool in the browser called Studio Binder that I will use because it'll do script formatting for you. But sometimes that gets a little weird of like how many documents or projects it allow you to have without like paying more money for it. So I've actually lately just started using Google Docs, which is not like, it won't do any scripting formatting for you. So that's kind of a pain in the butt. But I'm like, I'm not submitting them to anyone but me. So, you know, I'll make it work. So yeah, I go kind of back and forth between like Studio Binder and Google Docs right now for just how I write my scripts.
There's
any
one
recommendations?
Other one. Yeah, I was just going to say there's one other one. I'm going to look it up and see. It's called Arc Studio.
Studio.
What I liked about that is a friend was using the free version, and I was able to collaborate with them really easily. Because I use Final Draft, but it's if not everybody on your team has it, it's a lot harder to collaborate. Yeah. And there is a free version. I don't know how many scripts you can have, but I've liked it so far. And I know some of my like TV writer friends use the pro version.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've got it open in a browser tab now, so I'll definitely look into that because I'd love to not keep using Google Docs just because it doesn't format anything for you. And
and there is something. This is good for collaboration, but it just like has standard formatting, so it's nice. Yeah. And it's if you've used Celtics or whatever it was, that was the easy transition, definitely. Yeah.
Well, and I think for me, I could just write stuff. I'm typically the only one, or maybe I have another, like a friend or two come in to be in a video with me, but I'm usually the only one looking at them. So I could just write it in whatever formatting, but it's kind of like being like, I work from home, and yet I still get up, I put on real clothes, and I go to a different room of my house to make it feel real. Yep. And I think there is something that makes it feel like I'm doing a real acting job if I've made it look like a script, if that makes sense.
100%. Well, and then you've got it if you somebody's like, hey, I really love your new vertical series. And you're like, oh, it's an old vertical series, but like, can I see some more examples of your scripts? You've like got them and they're ready to go.
Point. Yeah.
So you're building your library and your rep there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. So that's what I use for writing. And then I usually go to my partner, Lawson, who went to school for cinematography, and he works in visual effects now. So he's in the industry. And depending on his schedule, sometimes I will film things on my own, but the stuff that looks the best is always something that has been filmed by him, because he just knows how to like put the right lens on the camera and where to put the lights just way better than I will ever know. So he can make stuff look really nice. And to work with him, I have had to learn how to write better scripts, because just because I know the intention, he can't read my mind, right? And he needs to be able to picture what I'm writing, especially when so many of my jokes are visual jokes. And I can't just rely on someone to know what I mean. So I've had to get really good about like writing out like better stage direction, or like shot ideas, or having really detailed like storyboard type conversations with him, so that we can actually know, like, how is this idea going to come off the page and actually be turned into something visual. So we'll do that. And then it usually takes a day of filming, which we do usually in my house, sometimes other places. And sometimes we'll rent equipment. We just did a video that is like a horror short film that we put out for Halloween. I wrote that script 2 years ago.
With that's the one with the very dramatic ending. Yes. I love it.
Yes, I'm being
There's
haunted.
a great visual effect in there. I love it.
Being haunted by all my unplayed games. And I wrote that script 2 years ago. And he went, "This is a great script. It's already October. This is going to be too much work. Let's try it next year." And then the next year, time is crazy. And I just didn't remember it in time. And so this year, I was like, in August, I was like, we have to plan this right now. Because I want us to film. We filmed it in September. And then I took all this time to edit it so it could come out on Halloween. But so then we'll take a day or two of filming. And for that, the reason I brought that up, that's right. I hope people don't mind my stream of consciousness.
Welcome. I love it.
That one we rented equipment for. So sometimes we will rent lights or something if we don't own something that is specific to making like a special thing happen, a special shot. I mean, what's nice about working with someone who went to film school is I feel like film school students know how to make a lot of stuff out of nothing, you know, like, they're like, you know, those China ball lights or whatever from IKEA, like, they're like, yeah, just use that. And like that style of like, oh, we just just wrap some foil around that lamp and now, or whatever, now it works. So you can make stuff look good without renting or getting a bunch of expensive equipment. But sometimes we do rent things. So we spend a day or two filming, and then I would say a solid week of work editing to get anywhere from a 1.5 to 4 minute video, depending on the video. And that's because I do it all. I haven't found anyone I trust to edit the comedy videos, and I'm not the fastest editor in the world. So it takes me some time, but also it's like, it's a process. It's going through all the takes and deciding which ones I like of myself and putting them together, and then like futzing with all the frame. Like sometimes you're like, oh, the joke's not working. Do I need to extend this by 5 frames or do I need to shorten it by 5 frames? It's one of the two. And then you have to export it, and then you have to make the thumbnail, and then you have to upload it, and then you have to write the description for the video. That's the hardest part, I think.
That's so time consuming, yes.
So that's kind of my process.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I hope it is.
No, it totally is. And it's interesting because I'm making video podcasts on the regular. So my process is very similar, except I don't have the scripting aspect for this. Like I'm working on other scripts for narrative stuff, but that's its own thing. That's not, I can just sit here and chat with you and ask whatever I feel like. And so I don't have that part, but then I do have the editing and the description and the thumbnail and the recording the voiceover at the beginning and all of that stuff too.
Yeah.
How many videos do you put out in a year on average in the last 6 years? Like, that's a really specific question, but do you find yourself like kind of a certain amount a month you aim for, or how does that work?
I try to put out one video a month, whether it is a comedy video or more of like an informational or a gameplay video. And this has really changed for me over time. So at first, I think in a lot of ways, this was the right way to do it, how I did it at first. And I've kind of moved away from it. But when my channel was only sketch comedy videos, I wasn't really doing anything else. I did them in seasons. So I was like, okay, let's take a couple months, and every 2 weeks I'll put out a video, and then we'll put out 8 videos. So season 1 will be 8 sketch comedy videos, put out every other week, and then we take 3 months off, and we figure out how to make some more, and then we do it again. And that worked really well. And a lot of people were like, oh, you have to be super consistent. I was like, well, when I was releasing them, it was like every Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning, this would come up. And then I'd be like, cool, that's the end of the season. See you in a couple of months, and make it again. And that helped keep it from feeling like a rat race of like constantly needing to come up with the next thing. But the reason that changed a little bit is just I had board game publishers start to reach out to me to want to like sponsor content. And it's hard to say no to someone wanting to give you money to make a thing. And when I was doing them as like seasons, there was just a lot less flexibility to be able to say yes to some of those things. And so I was like, well, I wonder if I should start trying to do different kinds of videos that could be sponsored, could have an ad, could feature a specific game that could go up in between these other things. So then I was like, well, maybe I should just aim at trying to put out like one sketch a month, every month, and, you know, fill in some of these other things for sponsors. And that's sort of still what I'm operating under. I try to put out at least one thing a month, but I could be more consistent. Like, as a YouTuber who does it kind of professionally, like, I could be more consistent with my uploads for sure. I just put out my 200th video, though.
Whoa!
200.
Congratulations.
Some
That's
of those
huge.
Are like, thanks. I was like, wow. Some of those are like YouTube shorts and live streams. I occasionally will do a live stream on YouTube and other things. And that might also count like videos from earlier in my YouTube that I've like unlisted because they're not part of this like niche I'm now in. But yeah, that's
incredible. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So in addition to YouTube, you also have Twitch streams. You're regular on podcasts.
Yeah.
You're like within YouTube, but also in other ways doing like, online videos for the games themselves. And you recently went to TwitchCon.
I did.
Down in San Diego.
Yeah.
So what's it like kind of going from a more traditional artist to becoming like a digital celebrity in this very niche space? Because you totally are. Like, you're on the panels, you're, being asked to be the sponsor. Like, you're totally doing the thing for this niche that you found for yourself.
Yeah, it's funny. My friends who are also content creators and I will laugh sometimes that we're like, we are famous within a very specific circle, right?
Yes.
So like the kind of is honestly, it's probably the most like ideal way to have any kind of celebrity, because I can go out and live my life and just be like, almost never have I been recognized outside of a gaming convention. It has happened like 2 or 3 times. But like otherwise it's just like, I'm just a normal person. No one cares. But if I'm at a gaming convention, sometimes it is like, if I want to get from this side of the exhibitors hall to that side of the exhibitors hall, I need to double the amount of time I think it's going to take me to walk there, because I'm probably going to get stopped and talk to people.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's adorable.
It's so honestly, it's really nice. One of the reasons I really started leaning into going full time in content creation was because this was the door that opened, right? So my partner is really big on like, you walk through the door that opens for you. And, you know, I was in Los Angeles and I was trying to, you know, get an agent and go on auditions and like make that kind of like traditional way of being an actor happen. And it just like kind of wasn't happening. And it still hasn't. It doesn't mean it won't ever, but it still hasn't. And I had made like web series before, you know, like I've made a lot of web series that 100 people watched, you know, and you're like, well, cool. That's there. And then I made a video about board games and I jumped like, I went from 500 subscribers on YouTube to 1,000 subscribers. I got like 1,500 views on the video in like the first few days. And I was like, oh, I guess I should make another one. And like, then I made another one and I got more subscribers and I got more views and I made another one and it kept growing. And my partner was like, I think you should go through the door that is opening for you. And that's this. And I had never, these first few videos I made, I have never felt more creatively validated. Like, I made something from my brain and put it on the internet, and there were people who liked it. Like, other board game, because I'm in the hobby, and I was watching other YouTube channels before, and some of these channels were talking about my videos. And the first time that happened, I was like, that person just said my name.
That's me.
Like, they know what? And I just had never felt like people had appreciated what I was doing so much. And it was really like the thing that was like, oh, why am I waiting for other people to put me in something when I can just make it myself? And people like it. In this version of it, because I'd tried in other things and it wasn't going over great. But this version of it, people liked. And so I just like
you're resonating with a specific audience. Yeah, great.
And that has opened a lot of other doors. You know, there are things I do now that I self-produce. Like I said, my YouTube videos, my Twitch streams. So that's a mix of video games and board games that I will stream live on Twitch. That's self-produced. And I've done some podcasts. None of them are happening well, one is sort of happening. It's happening still. What I mean by sort of is I'm not really the one producing it. I had some self-produced podcasts that aren't really happening anymore, but I'm in other things now that I'm not producing, but I get to be in. Which is
that's
great.
fun too.
It's so nice, honestly.
You don't have to do, it's so great when you get to just show up. I love it. I love it.
I'm at that point now where, being in charge is great, but also to just be able to show up, do the thing, and then be like, bye, have fun editing that. Like, and it's not my responsibility. Oh, boy.
Amazing.
So nice. All I want to do is show up and be told what to say, and then I get to go home. I didn't have to come up with it at all. And so those doors started to open. So, you know, I'm now in other people's gaming videos. You know, I get to be a guest on other people's channels and show up for them. I get to play D&D and other tabletop RPGs for other shows and for an audience. And I get to perform in that way. It's the most... Being in tabletop RPG actual plays is one of the most creatively fulfilling things because it's so much like acting. It's just acting, just with dice rolls that govern kind of the rules of what's happening. But otherwise, you're improvising all these role play moments. And for people who don't know what that is, because most people don't. So if you've ever heard of like Critical Role or Dimension 20, it's that. If you haven't heard of that, that's fine. Many people have not. Again, we're celebrities within a very small circle of people.
Super niche.
So it's people who are playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, where you have a game master who's running a story for you, and you have characters with stats, and you roll dice to see how well you perform those stats, and you role play different narrative scenes with each other. And there are people who do that. So
ttRPG is tabletop role-playing
game. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so an actual play is doing that for an audience. So you do it more as a performance. You're still playing the game, but it's a heavy performance focus. And that is such a neat world. I love it. It's so fun because it's the most like acting of everything I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's all freelance. And so really, I'm a self-employed freelancer, and I'm the worst boss I've ever had because I don't give myself a day off. I make myself work overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm constantly trying to balance, like, saying yes to work from other people that will pay me and also trying to do the work I want to do that maybe no one but, like, my Patreon supporters are paying for. Or maybe nobody's paying for it, but it's something that I find fulfilling or is the thing that gets me more of the freelance work, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because you've kind of built this core narrative identity with the Things Get Dicey that is kind of what you're known for, what you're famous for.
Yeah.
And then all the opportunities that spring up out of that exist because that core still exists. And so you still need to nurture that core.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And I think it's when people like lose the core of why they started that their audience really maybe eventually steps away because they feel like, well, I came because you do this. And so even if that thing isn't paying, it's still valuable because it's allowing all the other things to exist.
Exactly. That is that non-paying thing is what gives me the marketability to be able to secure the actually paying things.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, the expertise and the audience base and all of the work that you've put into it. So from like a creative input, as a creative business, so you've got like the core Things Get Dicey, and then you get sponsors for creative other videos. Do you have other income streams as a creative? Is that something you're willing to talk about?
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I think this is a space a lot of people are interested in, but don't know what that could even look like.
Yeah. So I get some money from like YouTube ad revenue for my videos, again, because they're so short that most of them only get ads at the beginning or the end. They don't get them in the middle. And so my YouTube ad revenue is very small. So if you want to make money on YouTube, you need to have longer videos that mid-roll ads can play in. And then my next biggest source for my self-produced content is sponsorships. So I take sponsorships for live streams of games. So I will be sponsored to play a board game on a live stream, or sometimes to do an ad read in one of my comedy videos. I might do an ad read over the credits, and I will obviously charge money for that. And then sometimes I will do sponsored edited playthroughs. So like I gather up some friends and we film ourselves playing the game and I edit it down so it's fun to watch, and then I'll get paid for that.
Okay.
Outside of that, I do a lot of supplementing with that other freelance work. So the podcasts that I'm on, like the ttRPG actual play shows I'm on, will pay me for my time to do that. So I get a little bit of money there. And then when I make an appearance on someone else's channel, I usually, depending on what the channel is, if they're a small channel, they're not paying me. Like, I wouldn't expect them to pay me. But if they're a bigger channel and they're being sponsored, I expect a little
like,
of that, right? Like,
share the wealth. Share the wealth when there is wealth to share.
Yeah, if you're being paid for this video I'm going to also be in, like, I'm helping you with that. So I get a little money there, and I have started doing some other things where I'm like writing videos for other channels occasionally.
Oh, smart.
I've been getting paid to do that. So it's really very much that freelancer thing where you're like organizing all my like 1099s for taxes. It's so many because I am just like getting money wherever I can to supplement the things that I'm doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're a real creative who's just in the thick of doing it and making it work.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like.
Yeah. And sometimes it's tricky because someone wants to hire me to do a thing and I'm like, oh, but if I say yes to this, it means I won't have time to make the video I wanted to make.
Right.
And I have to figure out on a case-by-case basis, like, is that worth it? And that's always a hard choice.
Right. And for anyone, it probably is. But if you only ever did that, then the core of what made this all possible goes away. So you can't always just say yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's a lovely problem, but a problem nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Wow. Okay. Well, this was so much. This is awesome. I want to ask you for a creator's challenge for my audience. Yeah. So this is something they can do to just get started, to go from 0 to 1.
Yeah, let me see. Okay, I jotted down. Okay. Oh, okay. This is what, yes. So because so much of what I do is with an eye toward comedy.
Yeah.
And I've realized, here's something that's not a challenge. But first, I want to tell everyone. This might sound cheesy or woo-woo or whatever, but you are more unique than you think you are. Okay? Like, I think it's so easy to start making things and think, oh, but this is the same as what everyone else is doing. It's not, because you are not the same as everyone else. And something I learned recently was I was writing a script, and I put all my jokes in it, and someone else was producing it. And the jokes didn't work. And I realized that so much of what works about my comedy is the way I write it, the way I say it, and then the specific way I film and edit it. And it's not just transferable to other people. And it made me go, oh, I have more of a unique perspective than I realized, and that's a good thing. So everyone else should realize that about themselves. Okay, so I will use that to segue into my challenge is for you to think of a joke or something that you think is funny, and then I want you to figure out why you think it's funny. This is the key to being able to repeat the joke, right? Because if you don't know why it's funny, you won't be able to improve on it. You'll say it multiple times and it'll be the same and it'll get stale. So once you know why, really analyze it, pick it apart in a way that like almost could ruin the joke because you've explained it now, but you need to understand it at that core level. Then once you know why you think it's funny, I think you should write a short scene, and I want you to make that joke 3 times. And each time you need to kind of heighten the joke. So it becomes slightly different or more exaggerated. Or you might heighten by like making it more and more like mundane every time. But it needs to escalate one way or the other. And you can do that if you know why it was funny in the first place. And you'll know why it's funny to you. That's all that matters. Why do you think it's funny? Because that's what you can then play on. And you have written yourself a sketch comedy. A sketch, you've done it.
Excellent.
So,
that's
if
so
you want
great.
to get funnier,
I think some people just assume that they're not funny, but it's totally a learnable skill.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
Everybody also has a very different humor and different taste, so that's a really good way to build while still making it within your own taste.
Yeah.
That's great.
And you can take it if you're like, but I don't do comedy videos, but I do essays or I do a conversational something. Okay. Well, now you can sprinkle that within your informational video. Or maybe you make a little joke at the beginning. Midway through, you make that joke again, but it's applied slightly differently. And then at the end of the video, you call it back one more time. And like, people are gonna love it. They're gonna be like, oh, that's like what they said there. And it keeps people engaged. It absolutely can apply, I think, to any style of video.
I think you do a really great job of that. That's perfect. You do a really great job of that in your video on the inner monologue because you bring it back. You escalate and bring it back with the analysis paralysis is your recurring joke.
Yeah.
And it's the one that escalates to the end. So that's just like a really excellent example of how somebody could apply that within a broader creative work. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Okay, well, this was so awesome. I mean, we didn't even talk about Deck the Halls or all the acting that we've done together.
I just talked.
I love it.
But I love talking about this stuff, so thanks for letting me, like my waveform on my personal recording is just literally me. I barely let you say anything.
Don't worry, it's my podcast. If I wanted to talk more, I would not be shy. I wanted to listen. This is great. So people should follow you on Things Get Dicey on YouTube and see where that goes. Where else would you like them to follow you?
Yeah, I post a lot of what I'm doing on my Instagram, which is, I need to change, actually. I need to rebrand to my actual name, but it's not. It's Paolo Bandita, PaoloBandita.
I'll tag you as well in the description.
And if you like live streamed things, come over to Twitch. It's very fun. Twitch.tv/Paula Deming. That's my name. And y'all, go listen to us in Deck the Halls with Matrimony. It's a lovely podcast. It's not going to take up too much of your time. You're going to love it. And you get to hear us act together. And it's a blast.
Yes. It's so cute. It's very sweet and funny and very seasonal and appropriate for the times. So it's perfect.
Holiday appropriate.
Yes. It's basically a rom-com movie, but in an audio format.
Yeah.
So just a bunch of great actors doing their thing, and it's really fun.
It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. So
it's so fun. I totally agree. Yes. Okay. Well, Paula, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on Creators Cafe. And cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
Join the community and share your creative challenges on Instagram and Facebook at Creators Cafe by Kika Labs. And also check out my website, kikalabs.com, KIKALABS.com, to sign up for the mailing list so you always know when a new podcast is released, and to check out my coaching and digital courses to help you be a more confident and joyful creator.